What is up, all you lads and ladies out there? Welcome back to the Respawn Recap. We got a lot of crazy stories to break down for all of you. Hello, Hunter.
Hey, how's it going?
Shut up. You ready?
Yeah.
Let's freaking ride. What is FaZe without some drama? Big old story this past week was actually FaZeClan making on the front cover of Sports Illustrated. It was Sports x Esports, and somehow people were still upset about this one. In case you guys missed it, 6 members found their way on the face of that cover. Nick Merckx, Swag, Kyler Murray, Bronny James, Temper, and FaZe Rug. I'm super surprised I got all 6 of those, to which people thought, oh, there are 0 esports competitors currently on a FaZeClan roster on that cover, and so some people were upset about that.
I get kind of bothered by these sort of things. I know you know that. I don't think the audience knows that, though, but it just seems like people want something to complain about. Like FaZe, a gaming org, made it on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Has a bunch of gamers on it. Yes, some that are like Bronny, that some people are like, oh, well, he's just in it because of his name, you know. But I'm not saying that. That's just what some people say.
Is his dad LeBron?
LeBron James, yeah, he's somebody. And so people just found a reason to be upset, and it was that, well, there's no pro players on it. Personal opinion, it seems like that's the smart move because you don't know where your players are going to go. Like next season, they could move or get bought out, and you don't want someone that's not on your team on the cover of Sports Illustrated. So why not invest in people that are probably going to be there?
Yeah, I thought it was super cool myself. I think if you want to avoid all issues, you have one current esports pro, but presumably all 6 of those members on the cover were also co-owners. You got 2 sports tight athletes, you got 2 OG members, and Temper and Rug, your most viewed creator, and then you got your 2 Warzone competitors, but also the face of Twitch, or one of the biggest streamers, in Nick Merckx, alongside Swag. The reasoning to a lot of people out there makes a lot of sense. I understand some of the issues with not involving more esports members, but at the end of the day, I think it's a super cool move for FaZeClan to get more exposure for the gaming space. What did y'all? 100 Thieves also making their way into some drama this past week. Definitely a more popular topic was Nico Lol, the response of her $2 million apartment tour, garnering a lot of backlash, given her history of apparently wearing some apparel that says tax the rich. A couple years down the road, it seems that she might be a bit wealthier than she once was.
Again, actually, I'm surprised by myself saying this right now, but it seems like people wanted to be upset about something because we don't know. My first instinct is, okay, she says tax the rich, supports those kind of ideas. She gets rich, and people immediately are like, oh, you said tax the rich, though. You can't be rich. But it's like, well, she could still
be paying taxes
and be fine. But the one credit I'll give to those people is saying that she moved to Texas, like bought property in Texas to avoid taxes, like as high of taxes in LA, which is like, okay, well, that's a different story maybe. But overall, it's like, can you blame the girl? Like, she got successful from being viral in one video, is capitalizing on that virality, doing well for herself, joined a top tier esports org, and now people are upset that she's making money.
Well, one question I had was, are you renting or does she actually own it? And I didn't really care too much for the topic itself. I will say, you know, your main point against it was her moving states to save on taxes, which we've actually seen so many streamers and creators, and some of the people complaining about that. Some of their favorite streamers might also be leaving LA for Las Vegas or for Texas. So plenty of people do it. And yeah, she definitely has gotten some money. I'm sure she's also paying her taxes. So I didn't care too much for it. But what did you guys think? 100 Thieves Nico has now responded to the backlash from a $2 million apartment. God, that's a lot of freaking money. And given all the recent roster changes for TSM Valorant, not really knowing their starting 5 roster, will it be a 6-man? They get Brax, and then all of a sudden he's off within a month or so. A lot of confusion around TSM, who once was, you know, mid to late 2020, one of your better North American teams, and a complete fall off, equivalent of that of G2 in Europe. We've seen this because it's such an early space, to which it was actually Shroud taking his stream in one swift blow. I just spit everywhere. He took some shots, not only at TSM Valorant, but also their coach, that being Myth.
Well, I think you mean TSM FTX, not just TSM.
That's a...
You gotta write that down. Like that's a new note because that's gonna be there for what, 10 years? So you better get used to it.
God dang it! But TSM FTX Valorant.
I do think everyone in the space, which is kind of funny, recognizes Myth as the most valuable Valorant asset to TSM right now because I mean he gets to co-stream every single event, which is huge. He has so much viewership. People will recognize him as like a co-streamer and an entertainer who does well for the scene, and so it's interesting that a content creator that no one probably would have seen coming as the Valorant coach guy is their most popular for Valorant.
And their most consistent name of like, okay, we don't know what's going on with Wardell. They've had other players leave, come and go. We don't know what's happening with their starting roster, to which Shroud obviously had to make a bit of a joke. Maybe see Myth and Shroud in the boxing ring. And then, of course, TSM not having a current roster. He just couldn't avoid it. Obviously, it was all fun and jokes, but it was fun to see in one foul swoop, just taking all of TSM with him, as Shroud does. xQc making the news this past week yet again, making some jokes and jabs towards 100 Thieves' way, something he did last year out of nowhere, and this time, it's timed way too perfectly. He's obviously trolling, but you got to talk about it when he does talk about one of the more popular esports orgs. As he mentions 100 Thieves, whilst he was playing in a Valorant event, he was going up against 100 Thieves rated, and then he goes on to say that 100 Thieves does not have pro players. They only have content creators.
I mean, let's be honest, 100 Thieves don't.
No, this rated guy, not classified.
Yeah. Let's keep it a stack, okay?
Oh, maybe.
100 Thieves doesn't have any players. They only have content creators. Even on their pro teams.
This a couple of days after the viral clip of Nadeshot having a rant in an E3 interview. It was an interview with Hex that was live streamed all over E3 about people judging him for not winning championships in such a short span with 100 Thieves. So clearly, at least in my opinion, top-notch thinking by xQc of kind of jabbing at like a sore subject.
He knows how to troll. I'll say that. Like, if xQc knows how to do anything, he knows how to push people's buttons. And it is, to a degree, like 100 Thieves first was an apparel brand, then moved into content, moved into esports. You know, like their way of making money is not through esports. They're gonna first focus on apparel and content creators.
They
obviously
have won a fair share of titles, I will say, but they're not mostly known for those titles.
Right. And so I think interesting by him, they have signed a lot of big names recently, though, which is kind of funny to compare now, seeing xQc say something like this. Like, they have Abadage and Hook now at this point, which are two massive players in both of their respective scenes. And so it's just kind of funny.
I mean, that's why he's obviously joking. I think xQc knows very well that 100 Thieves is well represented in both esports and entertainment. But also, if you're xQc, like literally no one can go after you. We saw last time we talked about some drama and some actual beef between xQc was with Ninja and his wife Jessica.
Right.
And that dude can lose an argument but still win, no matter what the case, because he has that dedicated of a following. So if you're Nadeshot or you're a 100 Thieves member and you see this, do you respond? Do you re-provoke the big old bear? I don't think you do, because I just
no
don't
chance.
think
you don't mess with xQc's chat.
It's like G2 Carlos. You just can't win. At least in my opinion. I would love to see it because we have a job because of it.
Right.
But xQc taking some jokes, light jabs at 100 Thieves. Will we get a response? Most likely not. Very lastly, this past week, E3 ongoing alongside the live streams to tens, if not hundreds of thousands of people across the world live streaming their games, teasers, and trailers. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, we saw an interview pop up between Nadeshot and Hex for Ven Esports, broadcasted live to all of E3, which we posted a clip to Twitter to later find out that Nadeshot had no idea this interview would be aired live in front of that kind of audience, to which he later takes to Twitter to talk about his issues with this. He thought he would be able to revise the interview, maybe take some portions out, and was never made aware this was going to be broadcast to an audience that it probably wasn't meant for. E3 is ruthless. I mean, these people wait for games. They don't care about esports CEOs and their conversations very much.
I think I'm pretty neutral on this one overall. Like, I can see both sides of why Nadeshot is pissed and also why people are like, why does it matter? Like, who cares?
Yeah.
Because on one hand, right, like E3 is for a much broader audience of gaming, not necessarily people who care about esports and stuff like that. And so a lot of people are waiting for their next game. They want to see if Halo's going to have a BR, you know, all this stuff. And then you see Nadeshot and Hex, who people might not even know who they are, talking and Fwiz, and they're like, why am I watching this interview? I hate this person. Like, that's their first instinct of like, I'm pissed off that you're on my screen right now.
I don't know you. I hate you.
Right. But then from Nadeshot's point of view, he's like, why is that there? I know people are going to hate me. I don't want people to hate me. Like, why'd you put that in there without telling me?
Like, I want this on a dedicated esports channel, which is who he did the interview with, Ven Esports, not with E3. So I understand that, but I also, flip side, it was actually for esports people, it was a killer interview. It had a lot of great talking points about profitability and winning championships and sustainability in esports. But yeah, to your point, I can totally understand as an E3 fan why you'd be like, what the frick is going on? So definitely see both sides. Nadeshot versus E3, it seems to have come to a neutral finish as both sides have apologized for the miscommunication. As per usual, gamers, we hope you all enjoyed the Respawn recap. We'll catch you back here next time, same time as well, recapping all those crazy stories in the esports and gaming space. Until then, take care. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
See ya.
No, bye.
Bye.